3 rounds of racing. Now we're into the business end of the weekend. Formula 3 and Superlight with the Bears Superstock in there as well. And it's been all day, fellows, 3 from 3 so far. We're going to have a look and see if we can see the iTools entry of Richard Markenbarrett. Doesn't look like he's made the lineup so far, so he's been chasing bike problems all weekend. And it will be a shame if he's not out there. So unfortunate stuff for the legendary iTools man. He hasn't quite made it out there here, but here we go. We're ready to go. The lights are starting to come on here for F3 and Bears Superstock Racing. We've got Dave Fallows, class act off the front row, but it's Christy Fiore gets a really good jump. We've also got Nick Cameron out on the NB Motorcycles Husqvarna Vidpillen. He is the one with the odds-on hole shot there. Christy Fiore's going to go right around the outside, 2 wide. Out of turn number 1, I think it's going to be Chris is going to hold that pace on and find himself in the lead. So another good start from Christy Fiore on the Yamaha MT-07. He finds himself in the lead with Nick Cameron out there in second. Dave Fallows is in third. It looks like Chris Bridge got a good start on that F1 Engineering Ducati Monster. So that's going to be cool to see. That's another one of the Bears Superstock entries, as well as Scotty Finlay. He's there on an F3 machine. So 2 classes out there in one. And at the moment, Christy Fiore, who's had a couple of podium finishes so far this weekend, he finds himself doing it at the moment out in front. We've got an update here, 2 classes, but we'll keep you informed. We've also got an update on the race durations. We have changed the 6-lap races to 5-lap races, so that is your Formula 3 and Bears Superstock. We've also got your High-Sun Cups and your 300 Super Sport. Those guys now go to 5-lap races for the remainder of the race meeting, and we've also kept the Classics, Post-Classics and Classic sidecars at 4 laps. They will remain at 4 laps, and the 600s and the Superbikes, they've gone to 6-lap races for the next 2 races. So shorten up the program. We have noise curfews and resource management restrictions here at Taupo International Motorsport Park. So we're trying to stay on top of the race program, and that's one of the ways we're going to do it. So another thing, the lunch break scheduled for around about approximately 12:45 p.m, so still about half an hour away. So we're going to go racing until around about that time, and then stop for that one there. So that's the update as we go racing with F3 and Bears Superstock. Christy Fiore and Dave Fallows, half a second in it, and already Dave Fallows piling on the pressure. He's won 3 out of 3 so far, and looking like one of the quicker men out on track. Nick Cameron out, he's third in the race, but that's first place in Bears Superstock. It is Chris Bridge on the 264 there, so 4th in the race, 2nd Bears Superstock bike home, and then Cole Williams, Scotty Finlay, 5th and 6th. Phil Duffy, another one on a Bears Superstock F1 Engineering Ducati. He's there in 7th place. Great start from Phil. Then you go Carl Cameron out on the Cameron Out Builders NB Motorcycles machine. Another Bears Superstock entry. Jeremy Thompson and Alex Johnson, 9th and 10th. And then everyone else a non-starter. Richard Markenbarrett, Dean Sumner. Glenn Conroy, unfortunately, on the Harley, not making the start there. Malcolm Pearce not with us today. And Nathan Finlay there as well. So shout out to them as we go racing here at Taupo International Motorsport Park right now. A 5-lap F3 and Bears Superstock race. We've still got 4 laps to go.
Well, doing a shout out for our spectators we've got over on the embankment today. Great to have spectators back there. I tell you what, they've been a pretty rare commodity these days. They're about as rare as petrol at $2 a litre, aren't they? So thank you, spectators. Neat to have you with us. Some of them along there in camper vans. Some of them have turned their station wagons around. They've got a little bit of a breeze behind them as well, so then they can look out on the track, catch the sun and catch the great racing. So good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to you as well. So great to have free spectators being asked to come to an event like this. Wow, I tell you what, you don't get better than that, do you? You'd have an event of this quality, and you'd normally be paying some reasonable money to be a spectator. So free today in the promotion of our sport once again, as we try to return to some normality as we look out for Dave Fallows. So the change finally, good credit there to Christopher, who'd led for those early 2 laps, but now it's Dave Fallows continuing on his leading way. So he's done the magic, and the magic has certainly come to the party. This is now the third race of the second race of the day for these guys, as we just reflect on the results for them back here a little earlier. So well done. So remembering that Bears Super Sport with Nick out there, he's done 25, so 75. So the first 3 races, all with a win. Chris Bridge in second on 60, followed by the 39 of Carl Kempenhort. And then in fact to that 300 Dave Fallows, 75 all the way again, 25. So here's the 4th race for that class now. And We see then Cristofori, who's actually gone a third, second in racing, and he nearly had a chance of being first. That would have been great to try and close the 19-point deficit down, but missing out there. Cole Williams, Scott Finlay, Jeremy Thompson getting the upper placings in our Formula 3 lineup. But here, now back to this race at this stage, and there's our Bears Superstock Nick, third overall, but first in class. Chris is second in class and fifth overall, followed by Phil and Carl back there as well. But Formula 3 dominating the landscape. Dave Fellows on that beautiful Aprilia twin, followed by Cristofori and Cole Williams.
Yeah, righto, our race leader is out of turn 14 down the front straight. Dave Fellows, TR20 Motorsport Aprilia and Pirelli on board, the Michael man from the Wellington area. He has now 1.9 second advantage, so the fastest lap of the race, that last lap around a 1:38.8, so flying with that new Aprilia. Chris DeFiore, he's on a F3 bike as well, that's the Yamaha MT-07, so both on twin cylinder machines, so cool to have our Pro Twins in there. There's also Cole Williams, he's on a GSXR 450 with a GSXR 600 with a cylinder disabled. It's a Formula 3 eligible bike, so cool to have the landscape of Formula 3 maybe returning to New Zealand road racing. It's a favourite of ours up in the commentary box, and cool to have Bears Superstock in there as well. We've got Nick camping out on the beautiful Envy motorcycles, Husqvarna Vid Pillen. That's a cool sounding and awesome looking motorcycle. Cole Williams, we'll talk about him. Chris Bridge, Bears Superstock entry as well. He's on that Ducati. We go Scotty Finlay, he's on an SV650, so Pro 20 entry for Scotty Finlay. Then Philadelphia, another one of those F1 Engineering BMWs, sorry, the Ducati in there. So he's second place, a good result there from Phil, and that is the third Bears Superstock bike coming home. Carl coming out on the Carl coming out Builders Envy motorcycles machine as well. They're taking from him. Jeremy Thompson rounding out our top 9, and that's our runners out there at the moment. Pro Twin Racing is looking all the best at the moment. This homologated production-based motorcycle moving with the times, and they're scheduled to revamp that class and let some modern day bikes in like this twin of Dave Fellows's and the MT-07 with the proper full specs on it. So look out for Pro Twin Racing. It's certainly in a little bit of a holding pattern at the moment to see where we go. Some great work being done behind the scenes, not only in this class but in 300 series. Guys like Kev Goddard trialling the Ninja 400 to see parity and what they can do to try and get that, because the production-based motorcycle, you've got to move with the times and you can't keep your head in the sand, so really cool to have all that going. So this one here, we've got one lap to go, white flag out, Dave Fellows, Chris DeFiore and Nick Camden, still your top 3, and really good to keep an eye on at the moment.
All right, take an opportunity and just as I pass it over to, or from Brad, sorry, thank you, Kev Goddard, love your comments, and well done, Team Goddard. I think that's fantastic. So looking forward to Olivia beating Josh. That's what I'm waiting for on the racetrack. Yeah, that's going to happen one day, and it's going to be cool. But anyway, and Brad's been talking about it, really poked it and stoked it yesterday, and I'll get him to do a little bit more about that South Island Safari, because he's written those dates down at the moment. And the good news we've heard as well, heard at the end of the day yesterday, that we're going to see Ctas and Grant Collingwood on board at Ctas, and he's going to be doing the same coverage for those events. So man, you've got to be following that, folks. And so too, we're going to have on board is Nicole from MXT. So we're taking the best in video work and the best in timing to the mighty south, so that they'll be able to give us some great quality road racing updates from that South Island Safari. So well done. We'll get more details from Brad shortly. So there we are, the Dave Follows Cristofori show out there, Nick Campenhord in there on that Vidping. Now this was the race we were talking about that had 14 starters and had 10 different bike brands. I'm not talking about models, I'm actually talking about the brands themselves. I'll quickly rock through it for you. We've got the KTM, the Harley Davidson, the Norton, the Ducati, the Husqvarna, the Aprilia, the Suzuki, the Yamaha and the Kawasaki. How is that? Fantastic. So really getting the good one. So I love the fact that we've really mixed it all up here. This is what production-based racing is all about. And if we don't have open chances for different bikes to compete, then we're putting a block in place for the distributors. After all, these are people that put their life on the line, you know, the money in the bank, so to speak, for getting quality motorcycles to New Zealand. We want to open the door to as many of them as possible. Yeah, we know that one bike may be a little better than the other, but don't worry, the cycle turns, and within a couple of years it's another brand that's come along, and it just keeps on turning. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it, I've been around long enough to realise how this whole game works, and more importantly, we just have some neat bikes, some neat people, and some great racing, so bring it on. So there we are, that's a wrap for us with Dave and Chris there to do the honours, and well done to Chris. Got to give him the credit, because Dave Fellows, it looked looked to be the man to beat. Man, he was just out there again and again and again. He'd won probably more laps than anybody else in the entire race day. But Christofori, for those first 2 laps, pushed, held him out for long enough. And although he had to finally crack under pressure, he's done very well to hang there and enjoyed his company for last night's tea at Thai Central, which we enjoyed immensely, Rupe Street here in Taupo. So there it is from Dave, Chris, Nick, Cole, Scott, and the list goes on of quality riders for Bears Superstock and F3 coming together for a great finale. And believe it or not, that's their 4th race, and they've still got another one scheduled for today. So 5 races over 2 days. There ain't too many events that are putting all that kind of quality racing together. So well done to our Northern Road Race Spectacular. And Brad will be previewing, of course, our South Island Safari coming up.